Hello guys, I hope you're good. So we back yet again with another video. So in our previous video, we talked about the market structure. We talked about the types of trends in the market. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to trade in the markets, how you're going to get entries into the market, how you're going to determine where you're going to expect the market in the next time you're going to trade. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the basic introduction into technical trading or technical analysis. So we're going to be starting with our supports. We're going to be talking about the resistance. We're going to be talking about the trend lines. And then we're going to be talking about the supply and the demand zones. Okay. So the first thing is, as we always do, we're going to open our MT4. So once we have our MT4 first open, you can recall what we said about the trends. You have the uptrend, you have the downtrend, you have the ranging of the consolidated market. They're different, but you can also see them as one. So the first thing, when it comes to the markets, there are certain points in the market where the market will come to a point too, and then they will turn and move upwards or downwards. So basically, there are points in the market where there are prices. By prices, I mean this. So there are prices in the market that will offer support. The basic term of support is, I hope, okay, you all know what's support, what I mean by support. Then there are those points that will offer resistance. There are those points that market will not continue with from that certain point. Okay, so then we have the trend lines. Basically, the trend lines are two lines that will help you determine the channel the market is following. Okay, so how do we draw our supports? So basically, you need to come to your charts. It's always advisable you start from the highest number or from the highest possible day in your chart. So we have the daily time frame. We need to find those significant points in the market that we see had an impact in the market that changed the trend. If it was a downtrend, then the market changed and it became the uptrend. So in this case, we're going to be drawing our supports. Okay, we have this point. Okay, this is one point. So in this point, the market turned. It's so obvious. The market turned from a long term or a bit of a long downtrend and it changed to an uptrend. Okay, so this offered support to our market. So how do you draw your support? You see this dialog box around here. You need to go and select the horizontal line. So once you have selected the horizontal line, you need to come to your chart and just drop it. See, so in this case, you have this point which acted as our support, which came to act as the support once again, and which acted as the support for the third time. Okay, if we go back in time, we see that point is very significant because back into around 203, see the dates around here, around 204, yeah, around 204. The points are also significant. Back in around 2000, the point was significant. In the year 2014, very significant. Around the year 2008, very significant. So guys, you see, we drew the point from 2018, but it goes all the way back to several years ago. So you need to find these points from a higher time frame because they will affect the market in the recent years. Okay, so in this case, we're going to be finding other support levels. Okay, so you can see we also have this point. See, then we have another point. Don't forget the time frames. We're drawing using the weekly chart. Okay, so this point, at this point now, you see how the market bounced off. It bounced off from a higher, from a different to an opposite direction. So the market offered resistance. Okay, this is support, this is resistance. The market resisted. Hope I'm making sense. So you draw these points. Okay, you need to draw them. You need to find that top point. Okay, when you're drawing it with your candlesticks, you need to find the highest point, the wick of the candlestick, the tail of the candlestick. Okay, let me try and find it. See this point? You need that point, that specific point. Okay, so that is how you draw your support and your resistance. So in the market, there are several times where the support will become the resistance and the resistance will become the support. Okay, so okay, let's find one. We have which is the best. Okay, we can have this. We have this. So in this case, the market acted as the resistance, you see. But when you come to these other times around here, not the best, but yeah, okay, I found one. But I hope you get what I'm trying to say. Support, you see this acted as the resistance of the market at this time. But when it comes to the recent times, to the recent years, it acts as the support. Hope that is clear. Support becomes resistance, resistance becomes support. So you don't need to understand what is support, what is resistance. You just need to understand that these lines, when you're drawing these lines, you need these points, the critical points. But you need to understand what is the support, what is the resistance. Okay, so you need to understand that in when we come to trading, like when you're trading right now, you see the market is almost at a resistance zone. Okay, so if we see the market crossing, then we will be looking at the point as the support zone, if at all it's going to come back down. I hope I'm making sense. You see, so basically that is how the market works. Yeah, so now we're going to go on to draw our trend lines. So how do you draw your trend lines? It's very basic. It's the same process. You need to come and select your trend line. You see, I hope you see my mouse. So once you select your trend line, you just need to come to the point you want to start drawing that trend line. Okay, so I want my trend line to run from this point to around this point. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to left click on that point, hold my mouse up to the point until the line is aligned to the points I want. Okay, so yeah, there you go, you have your trend line. You just drop and it will be drawn. So I want another trend line from this point upwards to these points. Okay, so I'll just come and select my trend line. Then where do I want it to start from? Around here. Then I'll drag it or I'll hold it to the points I want. Okay, so the other thing you need to understand is when you're drawing these trend lines, you need to find at least 3 significant points. You need to find 3 points in that market that indicate a certain trend in the market. Okay, so in this case, let's take for example in this market, we have this point, we have this point, we have some sort of, not the best, but you have some sort of a way, some sort of a trend around here. So at the end of that candlestick, connect it to the end of the other candlestick. Okay, see this point? Yes, that's how you draw your trend lines. Then we can draw another trend line on top here. Okay, so you have the channel, you have a channel. The market is moving in some sort of a channel, not the best. So let's find another currency we can do this on. So this is Euro USD. Remember when we talked about this downtrend? So the downtrend, I'm going to select my trend line. I'm going to start from the highest point. See, we have this trend. Sometimes it's always advisable to draw the best fit. Okay, so see this trend, I have that. I hope you see this, a slight cross, but still very valid. Okay, then you have the other one, have this. See what I mean? So we have that trend. Okay, so you see how the market is moving. So let's say in this case, let's say we missed this. Okay, and we want to add it to our trend. How do I do it? So what you do basically is just come double click on the trend line. You'll have 3 points. You'll have 3 points that are selected. Okay, so you need to drag whichever point you want to, the specific points you want it to go to. Okay, so let's say you want it there, around there, then we have that trend. Okay, this is for hours. You can go to 1 day and see what trend looks like. Okay, so you need to find as many trends as possible. Sometimes these trend lines act as the support or the resistance. Hope I'm making sense. Okay, so yeah, so basically that's it. Then let's say you have, let's go back to USD deploy. Let's say we have this, okay, but you're not comfortable with the trends and with the trend lines, and you want to clear your chart. What you do, or how to delete the trend line, okay? So you just come and double click. When you see these 3 dots, it's selected. So once it's selected, just press delete on your laptop or your PC, okay? So let's say you want to delete the support or the resistance. So you just double click on it. See these lines, see this white dot and this one. It means that it is selected. So what you do, just press delete. That's how you do it, okay? So let me just delete everything for this. So how do you trade? This is just a pointer, but we're going to be focusing on it later on. So how do I enter a market using supports and resistance? Okay, so the first thing I'll come on the highest time frame possible. I look for the trends. Okay, so I have several trends in this, but I don't need them. You see this? This is one of the trends. But you have to keep in mind the market is trading around this zone. Okay, so you need to find something that will be valid for me to trade when it comes to this. So what do? I already have the first trend. Okay, so the thing I do is, okay, just assume this, let's delete it. So the thing I do is I look for something in relation to this. Do I have anything that will give me a good entry or will give me a trade entry when it comes to this? So yeah, in this case I can see some sort of a closer trend. Let me just show you. I have this, see, so I have that trend. Hope you see this. That is one. Then I'll draw the support and the resistance. This is a very critical support and resistance zone. See, so but when it comes to drawing these supports and resistance, you'll find that they're not always at the exact one point. So you need that zone. Okay. So when it comes to the zone or that zone area, you need to find, okay, before you go there, you need all these points that acted as the bounce of the market bounce off from those areas. Okay, so we also need this because the market may move downwards. What else do we need? We also need these 2 points, you see. So we also need the highest point, but that will come in a later date. If we see the market moving upwards, then we need to redo it. Okay, so what do you do after that? That is the daily time frame. You come to the 4 hours. Okay, you zoom out, try and find as many symbolic points and symbols in the market as possible. Try and find the trends. See this is another sort of trend. Okay, so let's go lower. Let's go to the 1 hour. In the 1 hour, you already have that small trend, you see. So in this case, if you're going to be taking the trade for the Euro USD, there are several things that you're going to be looking at. The first thing is the market might bounce off from this zone. You see the trend, the support area. Okay, so that is one. So we might see the market bouncing off from this point, or we might see the market moving down to this zone around the trend line. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're just going to wait and see. But if it was for me, I'd say I'll take a long order from this point because of the support. Okay, Then, but if you see the market breaking downwards, then you enter as sell signal, but it is not advisable because the market at this point in the market, we have some clear evidence that that is a very strong resistance zone or a support zone, you may say. Okay, so yeah, that is how you do it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Have a good one. Okay, so guys, I was contemplating on whether I should continue because of the length and the size of the video, but let's just do this. So as we were talking, I told you guys about the zones. We have these zones. You find that the support or the resistance is in a certain zone. Okay, let me just delete everything else in a minute. Yeah, so you find that you have a certain zone in the market. See this? We drew our trend lines. You remember? We drew our support zone. So you see all this. So this is the zone that we're looking into before we take any trade. So how do you, instead of using so many lines, how do you draw it? Okay, so you just come to insert, then you go to the shapes, then you select the rectangle. Okay, so once you select the rectangle, you just come and drag and drop it to the zones that you have in mind. Okay, so when you have the market moving to this support or the resistance zones, you won't need the horizontal lines. Okay, you just delete the horizontal lines, so you'll have something that looks like this. Okay, so with that, it's a bit clear for you. You know what you're expecting, you know what you're looking for in the market. Okay, so when it comes to this, when you're placing your stop losses, you'll place it below. Okay, when you're placing your take profits, you place it right below it or right above it. Okay, I hope I'm making sense, guys. But that is how you trade them resistance in there. That's how you trade the trend lines, the resistance in the trend lines. I'll give you more on this, but I wanted to show you how to draw that zone. You just go to insert, then shapes, then the rectangle. Then after you press the rectangle, you just select on that zone you want to draw it on. It's always advisable to draw the horizontal lines of the support and the resistance at first. Then you come and place the rectangles or the zones. I'll explain more on these specific zones and how you're going to use them. But for now, you need to understand how to draw the trend lines, the support, the resistance. That is the most important part of it. So let's say we have this trade. Okay, there are very many reasons why we would take a buy from this. Hope you see why. See, so but we'll need to use the candlesticks to determine if we're going to enter a buy, a long. But before that, we're just going to wait. So let's do this on another currency. Not the best suitable currency, but why not? So you will have this. You need to find the trends. Okay, so we have this. I have something of the sort. Okay, see that? But remember what we said about this currency just a few minutes ago. This has been ranging. It's not the best tradable market. And when I mean ranging, you can see I've tried to fix some sort of trend line. Then you see what is happening at the end of it. So it's not the best currency to trade, but at least you see what I'm trying to show you guys. So let's take, for example, this USD chef. Okay, on the daily time frame, we have some sort of a trend. Hope you see it from down here. Have this. Okay, then we have another trend around here. You need to draw all these trends as you get started. It will come to a point where you don't need to draw them, but for now you need to draw them all. Okay, then we have the supports, the zones. Draw all these points. If you find a point that the market is bouncing off from the trend line, that is a likely support or a resistance zone. Okay, so you just draw all these points. See. So we also have this. So you can see how symbolic these points are. See this point from our trend line. It came to act up from our market, but you can keep in mind it is a zone. It is this zone. Okay, so that will be all for now. Hope to see you in another one, guys.